We are live after my PC crashing. We are back again, so apologies for that. At the moment we are on board with Jorrit Havermans, currently qualifying. 6 minutes in, 4 minutes to go.
So far, we are doing pretty well in qualifying, waiting for our slightly longer than usual race. I'm not exactly sure how long it is. I think that my co-commentator will definitely clear that up with me. I think it's 1 hour 15 minutes or 1.5.
An hour and a half minutes, 90 minutes I believe, yep. The season finale here, round 6 at Suzuka.
Okay, so I'm assuming that we likely have a pit stop.
We'll have 2 pit stops as the fuel tank is limited to 60 litres.
Okay, so we are following what looks like a screw loose car with the absolutely brilliant control over the apex. Now, a few races ago now, the screw loose cars were in quite a battle, but then we went around Bathurst, I think the name is, and
Yep.
they backed down a bit. Now, I wonder what the screw loose cars will be doing now. We know that they can be quite a danger in battles, but will they brave battles? I think that we've definitely got quite a few turns here. And we're going nice and gently, absolutely brilliant control.
So we do have a new leader, Dan Morey up in the lead with a 58.6. With this beautiful pink and yellow Altitude Esports car.
It looks like a Ferrari's the car to have at the moment.
We
Or
do
an
have
Audi.
many Ferraris, don't we? We've got a few Audis. Current leading car is an Audi, actually.
And one McLaren, if I recognise that symbol correctly, driven by Daniel Goodban.
Indeed. Oh, and we have a spin from Dan Morey.
Oh, and that is a brilliant looking car. I'm wondering if that is glow in the dark. It looks absolutely fabulous.
Go and watch some other people on track. Who else? Is there anybody who's catching your eye at the moment, Theo?
Not really, except definitely for Dan Morey. Dan Morey's got the absolutely fabulous colours there.
We'll have to agree with you there.
I think you should be using that style of colour for your wheels, Matthew, in your next race. I think it'll make you very eye-catching.
Ah, great. Shall we? Let's have a look at how's Byron doing. Byron in his
yes.
academy paint. Oh, as I say that, he's just stopped on track.
Hit the apex a bit. And I love how the cars, they just disappear on spot when they hit the apex a bit. Who are we with now? With the pink butt, or the red butt. I do not know which colour the rear of the car is.
I believe it's a mix of both, actually.
Okay. And we have another black car here. I'm going to have to guess the brand, and I'm guessing that that is a Ferrari. And oh, we are still with Roland Busson at the moment. Going quite fast. Brilliant curve control over the S curves, I think that is. The amount of lights that that car has at the front is quite astonishing. You've got about 6 lights. I think they'll definitely work in the dark. You can see the glare of them on the camera shot there.
I believe the Lamborghini actually has an endurance light package with one big extra light. At the moment, Dan Morey is still in the lead. The usual suspects haven't actually set a lap time yet. I'm not quite sure if they're starting from the back for this 90-minute race or if they're going to go out at the very end, because there's only Ah, it's because it's the amateur qualifying. This is why. Amateur qualifying now. 4 more minutes. We're gonna have a 5-minute break, and then we've got the pro qualifying up. That does explain my confusion.
Okay, Matthew, I give you the commentator's challenge. Can you please pronounce the surname of the person who is in 16th place at the moment?
Pass.
Okay.
Is he currently out on track? No, he's not. He's in the pits.
Billy has skipped that challenge as well. I will find someone who will attempt it. I'll probably put it in Google Translate and get a very misleading pronunciation.
Yeah.
We are now with Ray Peasley with the absolutely brilliant green car there. I think we're somehow themed by DC superheroes there with the colours. The lime and the dark green looking absolutely fabulous.
Oh,
And
and
brilliant
there is a
in-shot
missing
there.
body.
That is reasonably creepy. It's also missing the steering wheel. I think that car may be missing a few major parts there.
There we go. I think we're sorted. Are we fixed?
Oh yes, we
Okay.
are fixed.
Ray Peasley is back. He's no longer a ghost.
Okay, don't worry, he is still alive for now. And the buttons on that car looking absolutely brilliant, and that engine is quite roaring there. I'm loving the lime gloves on that steering wheel. I'm thinking that you find the suit of the driver to be the same colour as the car, which I like. It's quite matching.
I believe that is the amateur qualifying done and over with. So let's hop on board with somebody who'll be going up for the pro category. On board with Billy Fletcher now. Wait for him to exit the pits and start his sets of flying laps. Here we have the lovely queue of all the pro cars, and there's many Luxem cars. We've got the Altitude Esports car of Luke McEwen.
We have our absolute Luxem army leading the front there, and two screw loose cars up the rear, ready to definitely put up some battles there. I'm wondering what we can expect. And we are looking like we are very smooth with brilliant control there. I think that people are quite happy that we're not on Bathurst. Bathurst definitely not a forgiving track, to say the least.
Oh, Billy's... Is he going to pull off? I'm not quite sure what's going on here.
We've gone into the grass there, making fabulous train track. I'm wondering what's happened because we've completely stopped there. Has something happened to Billy's rig?
Oh, here we have a big train of cars now. Surely they're going to want to start spreading out to have a clean lap.
I don't think that everyone's got into their positions yet. I think that if we go slightly further into qualifying, people would have found their ground a little bit more. But we're watching a sandwich there and our tap dancing purple car at the back there. Just trailing behind Elliot Harper at the moment. And we have a bit of an overhit on the apex there. I've definitely learned in watching these cars that if you hit the apex a bit too much, it can be really unforgiving. There can be some massive spins.
On board now of Luke McEwen as he sets his way through 130R, getting ready for his first flying lap in the Lamborghini.
That car looking absolutely fabulous with the blue and the yellow and the orange. I think that some people are changing the livery of their cars for each race. You can see it, and the wheels are the most interesting thing to look out for. So Luke McEwen has got dark black wheels, but I think that the Luxem cars, they identify themselves by the different colours of their wheels, so we'll definitely see some rather interesting ones. And we've got a car on the side there, a Luxem car. I'm not too sure if that's Billy. I don't think it is. And I think we are continuing down the S-curves. Now it's quite easy to identify these because that just means they are lots of turns compact together. I have got a track map in front of me so that I can label the curves and stuff. I am currently thinking of a shape that this track looks like because that's sort of been tradition of me. We definitely got some interesting curve names today. We have got the spoon curve, which is always interesting. And just as I say that, I think they are going down the spoon curve right there, and they shall be heading for the hairpin. Absolutely brilliant looking trees. I know that's not very much to say about the cars. Trees are looking very nice today. And a fabulous shot on the side of the wheel of Luke McEwen. You can see that he's driving a Lamborghini with the slight product placement just on the axle of the wheel. And you can feel the utter speed just on the side there. You can hear the roaring motor down the straight and fabulous apex control here.
Oh,
Oh, and just
I
as
think you
I
might drink
say
it.
that,
Might drink it there.
I think I've commentator's cursed it there. You
You
hit
most
the
certainly have.
apex by just a few millimeters there, and poof, you got yourself a spin.
It's on
Two
board with
spins so
somebody on their
far.
flying lap now. I believe Matt Caruana is on his first flying lap now, coming through 130R. Hopefully he can take it a little bit better than Luke McEwen did.
Only two spins so far, not that I'm counting. We are looking a little slippery there. I'm wondering. No, it's not metaphorical. I genuinely think that the tyres are a little slippery. It looks like we don't have very much control over the track there. Is this a new car for Matt Caruana, or is this the one he has been using all along?
This is a new car actually. He has been doing many VR sprint races around this track with this car. So instead of finishing off the season in his usual Lamborghini, he's lost all his points and decided to switch over to the Audi.
Looks absolutely fabulous. You can see that there's a little bit of slipping there. I remember that before Bathurst, I cannot remember the name of the track. I think it's Sebring. And Luke McEwen had a new car, and it was utter chaos. So we know the danger of swapping cars. You really want to practice and get to know the track and the car well before you decide to swap that, because that's quite a risk to lose all of your points. I think if I read correctly, our league organizer, Adam Southgate, if that's the correct title, has decided that there will be one free car swap. So I think that means that you won't be losing all of your points. We have the inside
I
of the
think you're completely right there, but this is for next season, I believe, as this is the only beta season. So every car swap you will lose all your points, but of course, as you said, this will take place after this round when the actual season 1 starts.
And if I'm correct, this is the last of our practice round, if you can call it that.
Finale, yep, round 6 at Suzuka.
It's the finale of the beginning.
Indeed.
And I will do my best not to talk about corner control because that will happen.
Yep. These kind of things will end up happening.
Okay, so I'll shut up about corners for now, and just mention that there is a window wiper right in the middle of that window, the front window, which I think is quite awkward, and we've stopped in the middle of the track, and we've moved on to a screw loose car there.
I have noticed every time we go on board with somebody, they either stop or crash.
Okay, now it's time to think of your worst enemies, Matthew.
Alright, let's go on board with, let's choose someone you don't like.
Dear.
Where's Billy?
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's currently in the pits. Where's Mr. Adam in the old Ford? This fun fact about this car, this car is actually older than Theo.
Yes, it's a 2007 Ford, if I'm correct. You've been very excited about it. It looks quite funny. It looks like we've returned to a different time. That
We've gone to
Ford
Back
is
to
in
the
the wrong
Future.
time zone.
You are correct.
And
There
the
is
lights poking out there. You see the
2000.
personality in it.
You can see Mr. Ford written on the side there. 2007 Ford competing against 2021 prototype cars.
But because we've got a nice, slow, easy control car, could that be given Adam Southgate an advantage because it's a slow and easy to control car? Or is that not an advantage because it's a slow car?
I think in endurance races, this is exactly what you want. However, in the shorter sprint races, you might want the complete opposite.
Well, I think we've got ourselves an endurance race here.
But that
Now,
being said, last week I do believe it was Adam who won in this car.
Oh, so I think that we've definitely got some good control and good experience with this car.
Yep.
I don't agree with the golden wheels on the side. I think that looks a little too minted for a 2007 car. I think that old car, so I'm making up a little backup story for it. So this old car, right, he goes in a time machine. He goes to the wrong place. He goes to the jeweler and asks what year is it. Meanwhile, he gets his nice old wheels. And then he finds himself here.
Sounds about right.
I'm sure that we can save that story for Adam. I've decided that the track shape, it looks like a broken airplane seat.
It does actually, yeah.
And it's one of those massaging seats, which is why you've got the S curves going round. I am being very, very careful to not mention the corners here.
Not to
Because I
jinx
do not
anybody.
want to crash. Here, I've already commentators cursed 2 people, and just as I say that, we hit the apex quite hard, but we kept brilliant control. I think that because Adam's got such great experience on this, I can try to commentators curse him, but it won't work. Now, Matthew, you said they crash when you go on board with them, so do you want to go inside their cab and see if anything blows up? Because we all like to see a bit of banter.
I think we're okay, all okay at the moment. In the ancient interior. Billy Fletcher back out on track now. Has he actually set a lap time yet? I don't think he has.
I do not know, but the inside of the car is looking a bit more realistic than the Lamborghini.
A bit more recent.
The Lamborghini, it looks like you cannot see anything out of it because it's so low for that downforce.
Let's find the Lamborghini. There is a big camera sitting in the way of the Lamborghini.
Oh, our
Oh, we're back.
Lamborghini disappeared.
Oh, you can't actually see. Hang on. There we go. Look at that big camera. It doesn't look too bad from this angle, but I can promise you it's a lot worse when you're actually trying to drive.
Oh, we had
Once again, Joshua Burton's internet playing up a little bit there. Let's go on board with another Lamborghini. Aidan Lucas, there we go.
There we go. Can you see the screen difference there on the car? How on earth do you see out of that?
That is a very good question. The answer is you can't.
Okay, so are they like one of those Formula 1 drivers and they blindfold themselves, but they know the track so well that they can go around it?
More or less. Elliot Harper currently on pole position. Luke McEwen 2 tenths off of him, and qualifying is now over, so Luke McEwen has just crossed the line, but I don't think he's got enough time to set another lap, so...
Qualifying has gone extremely quickly.
It has.
We've had fun picking out Matthew's least favourites.
Oh yeah.
But none of them crashed, which is such a disappointment.
It looks like Aaron Rose actually has not set a lap time.
Oh.
Oh, he has, but
He
not
has.
a very competitive one.
Well, perhaps we're chillaxing a little bit because this is an endurance race, so it's not about speed on the first 5 laps.
True.
And is that a Lamborghini or a Ferrari? Because I cannot tell the key differences.
This is a McLaren MP412C.
Well, I feel quite wrong because it wasn't even in my selection there. Because I don't exactly do iRacing, so cars are yogurt pots on wheels to me. So I'm trying to learn my way through here. and a little bit of fire coming out of the exhaust, looking really nice. I like to see a little bit of the burn. And heading down the straight. And that's the end of qualifying. We have the checkered flag there. We've had the checkered flag for 1 minute and 35 seconds, but it's taken me that time to acknowledge that we've had it.
So, in today's race, we are at Suzuka for round 6 for the season finale. Today in the commentary box, we have myself and Theo Dambreen. Let's have a look at the grid, shall we? So, on Matt Caruana's actually, did he get him on the last lap? I think Matt Caruana might have just been able to get him on the line. Matt Caruana on pole. We have Elliot Harper in second, Luke McEwen in third, Lewis Rose in fourth, Adam Southgate in fifth, Emile Nunez, sorry, in sixth, Aidan Lucas in seventh, Josh Burton in eighth, Dan Morey in ninth, Jorrit Havermans in 10th, Leon Williams in 11th, and Ralan Bosson in 12th. You can scroll down a little bit. Ah, we have the championship standings. And it's not wanting... Okay, forget that. We're going to go straight over to the race.
And we've lost our safety pickup truck, unfortunately, and we've replaced it with Porsche.
I'm trying to get... Oh, I want to see the rest of the grid, but it's not wanting to show me yet. Not quite sure how we do. I'm going to have to consult Billy about this. No idea what I'm doing. Sorry about that, guys. Anyways, let's move on to the actual race itself. Matt Caruana on pole, as you'd expect after doing many races here over the week.
A nice and gentle safety car lap first. We've got our 2 screw loose cars in the middle of the sandwich. I'm keeping my eye on them. They better behave. And we are going down the first turn. Nice and slowly there, heating up the tyres with our fabulous safety Porsche there at the front. And it's gone into the pit lane and the race is off.
Matt Caruana getting a decent jump, covering off Elliot Harper.
Oh, and we've got some cars racing side by side. That's quite a bit of danger there. But with some fabulous control, we're managing to make our way round. We definitely got Matt Caruana at the front there, taking the dominant lead. But
We have
McEwen
a
in
crash.
behind. Oh,
Eddie Harper going off
crash there. Some
as he
first
just lost the rear.
damage.
He goes a little bit wide, and it just snaps on him. Sorry, completely loses
Oh.
it. Manages to avoid the other cars, so very well done by him. Back on board with Matt Caruana now in the lead.
I'm wondering, where is Adam Southgate? Because we know how he likes that new car. He's in 4th place currently. Quite a nice and gentle 4th place. He's at least got a second between him and the others. So he's chilling at the moment. I'm wondering, will he be pushing Rose or will he not bother? Is that too hard?
Tonight's SOF we have a 2k strength of field, so a fairly decent grid. Matt Caruana still in the lead, Luke McEwen making his way into second.
We're heading for the spoon curve there, as Matt Caruana takes it, and it goes up quite a bit. I can see that being a problem if we do spin, but that's definitely a bit more forgiving than Bathurst. Bathurst was definitely quite dangerous there. Fabulous control there, overhitting the apex a little, but still doing fabulously and keeping the unbelievable control there. I think that's very important if you want to keep the lead. You need to be very consistent.
It's showing Elliot Harper is currently out of the race. I don't know if he got towed back to the pits or what's going on there. Meanwhile, we still have Matt Caruana in the lead.
I'm having a little look at the turns, and it looks like Nunez, I do not know how to pronounce his name, has had a crash.
Let's see if we can find that on
now
replay.
in 18th place. The
Going through
pain that
turn
must
one,
be
did he
there.
just lose the rear? Going a little bit wide and the car's just snapped on him. He did the same thing as what Elliot Harper did the lap before.
That's quite painful there. In the grass there, seeing the positions go past, I could imagine the utter pain it is just to see that. Letting you listen to the wonderful sound of the cars there. I think we've got some control over the straight there. Nice to see. So far we've got a screwless car, I think that is there. And we've got another one of our fellow Luxem cars with Luke McEwen behind. And because that's Luke McEwen behind, I'm going to guess that that is Matt Caruana at the front. Still keeping the absolutely dominant lead.
Oh, we have got a crash. Dan Moore going off
Another
track.
crash there.
Exiting the chicane, hitting the curb a little bit too hard and just losing the rear end there.
That's a fabulous looking car though. I shall repeat, it's a fabulous looking car. Loving the colours. It changes a bit from the classic Luxim style.
Sorry about that, I just had to quickly sort something out. Right, we should be okay. Just making sure the stream is working properly for everybody. Luke McEwen now almost a second behind Matt Caruana. But I believe Luke McEwen will be saving fuel and will try to get the jump on Matt Caruana over the course of the 2 pit stops.
Oh, but Billy has told me that Luke McEwen is very good with his pit stops, and I have not been disappointed.
On board now with Liam Williamson P10. Battling Linus Sarang down in P11. Not quite sure what's happened to him. Usually he's running in the top 5. Struggling with the McLaren around this very difficult track. Luke McEwen looks like has had an accident. Coming through 130R, the deadly corner on this track, and a little bit wider. And turning back on track, but keeping it all nice and safe.
I'm loving the pink and white livery there. I think it certainly stands out, but we're getting a screw loose car trying to shunt in from behind across the S curves there. I think that's quite dangerous. We know that the screw loose cars, they are not forgiving. We've got a
Oh,
train of
we
four
have had a
cars
crash.
and we've had our seventh crash.
That's the third spin around that corner, I believe. This time, Academy
I'm
driver Jamie Goodall.
I'm loving the choice of the wheels, the lime. It is fabulous.
You definitely can't miss it, can you? Currently on board with Oscar Ingolstadt in his very, very cute livery. Liam Williams up into P9. Caruana still leading with the gap staying the same between those two. However, Luke is gapping Lewis Rose in P3, who's up a position. Let's go back on board with the leaders. Matt Caruana doesn't seem to be able to put a gap on Luke McEwen. Oh, and as I say that, somebody has just gone very, very wide of track. Oh, we have had many crashes.
Oh, I'm
Oscar
watching. I'll be
Engelsted
doing
having an
replays.
incident coming to 130R, tipping a wheel in the grass, going wide and losing the rear end of his car.
Oh, not our favourite Hello Kitty car.
We've had many crashes. What's been going on? Nathaniel Goodban
Straight
here.
on the track though.
Oh,
Loads of stuff
just
to
going
talk
off track,
about.
avoiding the cars.
Avoiding our Hello Kitty friend, and we're put into the side. And another screw loose car just by the side there. Dear, that crash has certainly put quite a few people off.
Oh, well avoided by Emil.
Oh, but then we are spinning again.
Everybody coming off track and coming back on. Billy Fletcher off the track as well. What's happened to Billy Fletcher? Going through 130R. Is he avoiding the crash? I think he just went a little bit wide there. I think we have gone through all the drama.
Okay, do you know the name of our favourite Hello Kitty car? I am trying to locate it at the moment.
Let me have a look. I believe it was Oscar Engelsted. There we go, I have found it. I think we might be having some timing issues at the moment.
I am currently writing the race report as well, so if there's anything particularly interesting, I'm sure that Matthew will be watching the Twitch chat, so if there's anything interesting that you want to see pointed out, I'm happy to write that.
We're back, okay. Matt Caruana still in the lead, however Luke McEwen has closed the gap, only 3/10 between the two of them, and Rose almost 3 seconds behind them. Closely followed by Adam Southgate. Elliot Harper is out of the race by the looks of it. Dan Morey having another incident. Let's have a look at this. I believe it might have just been his internet. Oh, it does look like he did hit a wall there though. Back on board with the leaders now. McEwen still closing the gap between those two. I believe that McEwen might have more pace over the two. However, he's in a brand new car for tonight's race, trying to prove a point that the Lamborghini is still competitive. This is still the most exciting battle on track, only 4 tenths between the two of them. Matt Caruana started on pole, still in first place. Luke McEwen up a position now after Elliot Harper's incident. Matt Caruana going wide, Luke McEwen having a look around the outside of the chicane. Amazing move by Luke McEwen. Very, very good driving. And up into the lead he goes. Let's see if Matt Caruana decides to save fuel behind him.
We have got a Luxim versus Luke McEwen there. I'm not too sure if Luke McEwen's got a sponsor there. I'm sure that Matthew will recognise that.
He drives for Altus Esports, sorry.
Okay, thank you. And we have got I think Matt Caruana is taking advantage of that slipstream.
Indeed he will be, but will he use it to get past Luke, or will he use it to save some fuel over the course of this very long race?
And we are watching still in front of the cars there. I think that Matt Caruana, yeah, he's slowly going behind a little bit, making a tiny bit of a comeback in the corners. But so far, it looks like we've got Luke McEwen. He's at the front and he's keeping that. And unfortunately, we know that Luke McEwen is a legend with his pit stops. So
He is known to be very good with them, yeah.
that Matt Caruana will need to up his games, either with super fast pit stops or getting out of that slipstream and trying to overtake.
Matt Caruana is known to have some sloppy pit stops though. So I believe Luke McEwen will be at the advantage here, now with a 2/10 gap over him. Now on board with Josh Burton with the battle of P5 with Lucas right in front of him. Back on board with Luke McEwen and Matt Caruana now. The closest battle on track. It's like Dan Robbins has had an accident. Going a little bit wide and losing the rear end of the car once again around turn 1. Everybody's having issues there, aren't they?
Certainly very intense there. I'm seeing that there are quite a few people having trouble at a specific corner. I'm not too sure if I can locate that corner at the moment.
I think that might be turn 1.
Okay. I think people may be tricked thinking that the first turn it is a little bit further away than it actually is, because it's very close, and I think that that's tricking some people. So far with Burton there, we have just made our way out of the S-curve and we are going to the Dunlop curve next.
Josh Burton with continuous internet issues. Let's see if we can move on to another battle on track. Let's have a look. We're back on board with the leaders. Luke McEwen extending the gap between him and Matt Caruana, now 0.4 of a second. Luke McEwen taking the defensive line to turn 1. It does sound like Matt Caruana is saving some fuel.
heading down there for the down curve, and we are going straight into the hairpin afterwards. The cross track there have been no particular crashes there, but something tells me that when people get more into their position, this crossroad could actually become a problem. Seeing as this is an endurance race, people will start to find their positions, and if someone does crash there, could the T-bone be really, really painful?
Looks like Ray Peasley got towed back to the pits, but is now back out.
Shout out to the tow truck. I don't think that the tow truck is usually complimented for the work that it does. It's even invisible in game.
Indeed it is.
A slight question for you, Matthew. In the YouTube chat, I'm sorry I do not know how long this is. Is Tristan Rosier still running?
Tristan Rosier, I'm not sure. Let's go on board with him now. Let me find him quickly. There he is. And he is still running. In P25.
The question is that a good thing or is that a bad?
I think he might have had a few issues. Was he involved in that big crash through 130R at the beginning? I think he might have been.
I'm wondering. I'm not too sure. I'm struggling to keep track here. We definitely got quite some action.
Oh, we've had a crash.
Here. Oh,
A
we've had a
spin
crash.
through
Oh,
130R as we were talking about just a
quite
moment
the
ago.
spin there. Oh, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to attempt that name. Oh, and we've had a little hop from person to person now. And we are watching Tristan Rosier. We are no longer watching Tristan Rosier. We are now watching his career.
Sorry, we're on board with the leaders.
Now we're on board with Luke McEwen.
In his gearbox at the moment, we can see Matt Caruana's Audi been ever so close to him coming into 130R.
It's quite an intimidating look from the gearbox. You can hear the sound. Oh, and Matt Caruana's nose coming up there. I won't mention that action too closely.
Luke McEwen is actually saving fuel as well. I have no idea if Matt Caruana is aware, but as Matt is saving fuel behind Luke, Luke is also saving fuel but in front of Matt. So, quite an interesting strategy. It looks like we have had another crash. Not wanting to come up, there we go. Well, when he goes a little bit too deep, goes over the runoff. Nothing too serious though, so he's still okay. Adam Buhastin having an incident, however. Just stopping on the side of the track. Quite possibly a hardware failure there. Back on board with the leaders now. The gap's staying fairly similar. Lewis Rose is now 2 seconds down on them. I'm not quite sure if he's catching though. If these two battle, he'll definitely catch up. But the top three are creating a gap between them and P4, Adam Southgate.
And that's quite an intense battle there. Something tells me that Luke McEwen will be doing his best to gain his ground there with the pit stops, but Matt Caruana is definitely staying behind, taking advantage of that slipstream and trying to take back the first place. But I don't think that Luke will have it.
Luke taking a slightly defensive line coming into the chicane, parking it in the middle of the track, trying to confuse Matt Caruana as to what side he wants to try and overtake on. McLaren are looking for a move around the outside, not making it though. McLaren has set a faster lap time than Luke, however. Despite being in the slipstream, it is still 0.4 seconds quicker than Luke's. But Josh Burton has had an incident. Coming into turn 1 as he had the same issues as other people, just going a little bit wide and loose in the rear. As he's just gone a little bit too deep there, I believe. Let's have a look at the most exciting battle on track. Linus Rank in P10. Oh, it jumped to Josh Burton now in P7. Just behind P27, who is a lap down. Back on with Matt Caruana now, trying to make his way past Luke. However, they're both saving a lot of fuel. Lewis Rose is decreasing that gap though, he is closing on them fairly quickly as these two are battling. We have got inside information on Jorrit Habermans. It looks like his VR battery died on him, unfortunately, explaining why he is out of the race.
Oh dear, that's the disadvantage of doing sim racing. You need to check that everything is plugged in or has a full battery.
Josh Burton going wide once again through turn 1. Managed to catch a little slide this time, but still keeping it relatively smooth. Matt Caruana now 0.6 seconds behind Luke, so not being able to keep up with Nick McEwen. Lewis Rose is now catching up to Matt Caruana, so he's dropped off fairly significantly on his pace before. Either that or the others have got more comfortable with the track.
All these drivers need to change tyres.
It would be up to them, but changing tyres takes about 20 seconds. So will it be worth losing 20 seconds in that last pit stop to make it back up after? However, I do believe the track conditions are fairly cool actually, so it should be okay if you keep it on track and don't slide too much. Lewis Rose now only 1.7 seconds behind Luke McEwen, so definitely closing that gap. He'll be on the back of McCarron in a few laps by the looks of it. Just over an hour to go now.
right? So we still have Luke McEwen in first place, and Matt Caruana is still losing him, but he's still staying at least less than a second behind. There's still a chance, there's still a bit of hope. Let's hope that Matt Caruana's experience with this track will get him quite far.
Now on board with Aaron Rose closely following Aidan Lucas in the Lamborghini, battling for P5. Aidan Lucas taking a defensive line to turn 1. Will Aaron Rose be able to make it around the outside? Not
Got
quite
quite
making
a
it
bit of speed there.
round.
I'm looking for an overtake there, but our Scrooge friends takes it over on the outside. That was a bit painful there, didn't exactly manage to go forward there. We have got Lucas, if that's the correct name, who's trying to block,
Aidan
trying
Lucas,
to
yeah.
defend there from Rose.
Only 0.3 seconds split in these two. Aaron Rose will want to make his way past to try and gain some ground back up on Adam Southgate. I believe Aaron Rose might have started from the back. Sure. In P13, I believe. Matt Caruana is still struggling to keep up with Luke McEwen despite being in the draft. Back on board now with Luke with a half-second lead over Matt. But Lewis Royce has had a slight incident, possibly just on off track. He's going a little bit wide through the exit off turn 1. Managed to keep it on track there. Not long now until people start making their first pit stops in this race.
Also asking, if you have minor damage, do you leave fast repairs ticked?
Yes, you may as well, as I believe you have 4 or 5 over the course of this race.
And a bit of a noob question, what actually is fast repair?
A fast repair is, in the majority of official races, you won't have them, but in these hosted races or league races, the admins may be kind enough to give you them. And basically, it just fully repairs your car when you come into the pits in case you've been in a crash or hit a wall or something of the topic. Luke McEwen still in the lead. Now with
Oh,
a very, very big gap of
Caruana.
1.2 seconds. So Matt,
Caruana is falling behind. Last time I checked, he was at least 4 tenths of a second ahead.
so he will no longer be in the draft. So I think Luke McEwen should be able to quite easily pull away now.
We are looking pretty smooth at the moment though. I think that people have mainly found their ground and are reasonably comfortable now. I see that, I'm sorry I do not know first names here, but we've got Arang or Orange facing the wrath of Fletcher, or one of Matthew's worst enemies there. There's about a second between them, but at one point there was just 5 tenths of a second. I'm thinking that we've got ourselves some tension there.
At the moment, we're on board with Alnor, still trying to make his way past Mr. Aidan Lucas, as he's got the inside line coming onto the back straight just for 130R. Will he look to make a move down the inside for 130R and push him onto the outside? Both jump into the pits now, actually. First of quite a few pit stops.
I'm thinking we are about halfway through the race, so
Not
the pits
quite.
may begin to come through.
We still have just under an hour to go. A full 120 litres for a majority of drivers being put into the car now. Matt Caruana, I believe, is showing him. I think they've all pitted in now. The top three are in the pits: Luke, Matt, and Lewis. However, they will be a lap ahead of the others. Aaron Rose still right behind Aidan Lucas, so the two of them are still battling for. Is it P5, P6, I believe? P6, no, P5 even. Aidan Lucas, before the pits, was in 5th behind Adam Southgate.
Fabulous corner control. I've got the Bravery 2 mentioned corners. I'm hoping that we won't be having any ground with them.
Yep. Billy Fletcher now in the lead because he is not yet pitted. Billy now also in the pits. The two original leaders, Luke McEwen and Matt Caruana, are just exiting the pits now. It looks like Luke got a fairly big jump on him actually.
Luke's managed to get ahead just a bit there, again with his epic pit moves. I'm not too sure how to describe the pit moves. I'm not too experienced, so I'll leave Matthew for this one.
At the moment, nothing too exciting went on. Luke McEwen came in the pits in front and came out in front. Now with a bigger gap though, it's probably a better exit out the pit box.
a lovely watch there from the seat of Luke McEwen there, if I'm correct. The airspeed there of our first place, and we can already tell that he is a Lamborghini because he's got that camera at the front and because you can't see.
Our most exciting battle on track is still Aidan Lucas and Aaron Rose. However, Aaron Rose is in front now, and we want to start making a gap and catch up to Adam Southgate, who is about 14 seconds up the road, so it will take him a while to get there. His best lap time is very close to Adam's, only about 700ths between it.
Adam Southgate is currently in an ancient with its strange eyes open 2007 Ford.
Aaron Rose taking the defensive line into turn 1, making sure Aidan Lucas cannot get back past him. He'll steep in behind him for as long as possible as he tries to close the gap between himself and Adam Southgate, who is currently still in P4.
Adam Southgate is being very consistent at the moment, definitely something that we do need at the moment, and because of that he's actually managed to gain a bit on Rose there. Previously it was a 14-second gap, now it's a 15-second gap, and just that 1 second can make such the difference. And again, we've got another battle with the Screwloose car involved, trying to take on Luxsim. They're all overhitting the apex a little bit.
Oh, Aidan Lucas taking that very, very wrong. Let's have a look at that again. Coming through 130R. So going a little bit wide on the curb, and the ridge just snaps him.
Oh, and that is quite the spin there, covers a really long length.
Almost completes 360. Hopefully we can have a safe rejoin, about a 20-point turn to get back onto the track. Very good job by him not to take anybody out with him. So I've had an incident with Elliot Harper. Doing the exact same thing actually in the same corner. Each on the wall to stop him coming back onto track. Very unlucky for the two there.
And we have our two Screwloose cars there. I think that is going to be pretty uncontested. I could imagine that a Screwloose car doesn't want to get another one out. And now we've got our DC Superhero themed car here.
Brian Russell in P16 following Ray Peasley, the TCR car, battling for P15 on the grid.
letting you listen to those fabulous car noises there. I think that some people can definitely find that reassuring.
On board now with Ray Peasley's gearbox, we can see Brian Russell's Luxsim24 Esports Academy Ferrari following him closely. Only 1 second, not even that, only 0.7 seconds splitting the two. I think we might be having a few overlay issues because it is showing as Link McQueen and Matt Caruana are being out of the race. There's something happened between the two, but I don't think so. Same issue with Lewis Rose now, so give it time and hopefully it will sort itself out.
I'm loving the look of Ray Peasley's car. I think I'll be writing that in my race report.
The green, black and yellow team, Club Europe I believe it is. We have quite a few of these in this race. I know for sure we have Ray Peasley and I believe Miles Owens. There may be some more, but I'm not sure. We are now halfway into the race, 45 minutes in, 45 more to go. On board now with Lewis Rose, currently in third, the first of the Rose sandwich. We have a Rose in third and a Rose in fifth. Adam Southgate being stuck in the middle. It looks like we've had a crash with Byron Russell. Oh, just tapping, it was that 130R, I believe, just tapping the wall there. Andy Murray having issues as well, but I'm not sure it's gonna show us. No, sorry about that, guys. Back on board now with Luke McEwen and Matt Caruana. It's now only 3 tenths behind him, so Luke McEwen must have made a mistake somewhere along that we haven't seen.
I'm still absolutely admiring Luke McEwen's fabulous colourful livery there. we're hitting the apex quite a bit there. I think that that specific apex is typically overhit a little. I'm having a little look there, and spoon curve. That apex seems to be very deadly. I'm going through quite a tight curve there. We are watching Luxsim versus Marijuana, and the gap has gone down to, we're looking at about 0.4 of a second. That's slowly slipping back a little bit though. We've still got quite a bit of intensity there. I'm very, very impressed with the pit stop there, because we were told that Luke McEwen is very, very good with his pit stops. So the fact that Matt Caruana has managed to catch up is very, very impressive. As Matthew previously said, I do think that Luke McEwen did have an accident. Adam Southgate is still in his very, very steady 4th place. I think that that Ford has actually paid off, showing to be very steady, very good at keeping a nice pace. I don't think it's the fastest thing in the world, but it's very consistent. Matthew, would you like to move on to a different camera?
I will do in just a moment. Having some PC issues, so apologies. I will sort that out in just a moment. Shall we have a look at the most exciting battle now? Still Lewis Rose and let's just switch back over onto the leaders.
Lewis Rose and
It's just Lewis
alright,
Rose, please.
Rose seems to be nice and separate there.
We have
the leaderboard catching up there. It's flickering quite a bit.
we have Liam Williams and Nathan Lucas both racing for Screwloose Racing, the beautiful brown and black Lamborghinis. We've lost the cars. Where have they gone? Okay, coming through 130 on now. Let's get a better camera. Can't really see what they're doing there, can we? Let's have a quick Chopper. Chopper's always been a good one.
Seem to be quite nice and distant there. Oh yes, that is certainly a very good look there. We are watching our two screw loose cars there. I'm thinking that they do want to pass, but they need to be very careful because you can't exactly have someone on the same team knock you out. We've seen Roman Grosjean do this before, and I don't think that Kevin Magnussen was happy.
I can confirm. Probably why the two are no longer in F1.
They seem to be pretty comfortable there, Williams and Lucas, so far. I think that there is a little bit of intensity between Crater and Billy Fletcher, but not too visible at the moment. I think that there's definitely a Fletcher sandwich happening at the moment. You've got Lucas in front and Crater behind.
On board now with Elliot Harper just in front of the two screwless cars. Many screwless cars in this race. Very nice seeing supporting our league. Elliot Harper back up into 10th, still 8 positions down from where he started after that early lap 1 spin, but he still has about 40 minutes ahead of him. Let's see where he can go. Still 49 seconds down on the leaders. However, he did qualify second, so he might be able to close that gap over time.
So we are more than halfway through now. Who has pitted?
Everyone should have pitted by now. They still have one more splash and dash to go for the end. But it looks like everybody's still out. Ellie Harper taking an interesting line coming through turn 1. Let's go on board with Billy Fletcher. Up 21 positions, as well as Alex Crater. So it looks like these two started at the back together. Both doing a very good job. Billy Fletcher has created a fairly big gap on Alex Crater, the two Luxsim24 esports drivers. Billy Fletcher slowly closing the gap to the two screwless Lamborghinis in front of him now. Fighting for P6 overall. If Billy Fletcher can get top 5 out of this, it'll be very impressive time from what looks like dead last from P29. Alex Grace starting from P30, who's in P9 as well. So driver of the day, guys. You guys, it's all up to you. Billy Fletcher having a slight spin. Not quite sure what happened to him there. Losing the rear end of the car.
At the moment as well, and he seems to be 3/10 behind Luke McEwen.
Coming in a little bit too fast on the rear end of the car, just snapping on him. Very unlucky there. Make sure he doesn't hit his teammate. Really only losing out on one position there. So it could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. Back on board now with the leaders. Let's have a look from the gearbox angle. Luke McEwen engaging the clutch there to save as much fuel as physically possible. We do not know if Matt Caruana is doing the same thing.
I like to call the gearbox view the intimidating view. Looks really petrifying to see all of those cars behind you.
Matt Caruana is saving a bit of fuel, just lifting and coasting, nowhere near as efficient as what Luke McEwen is doing. As we see that Luke McEwen going in a little bit too hot. Matt Caruana having to back out of it, not to him, but that has allowed Luke to create a slightly bigger gap, now 6/10 between the two.
Some very nice visuals to watch there, really nice and smooth running.
All of this has allowed Lewis Rose to close the gap even more now, only 1.7 seconds behind Luke and only about a second behind Matt. As to saving fuel, Lewis will be right on the back of him. The two leaders still the most exciting battle out on track, soon to be even more exciting now that Lewis Rose is closing the gap very, very quickly. McEwen is the fastest car on track with the fastest lap of the race with a 57.9 flat. But despite Matt Caruana being the draft, he still can't take the advantage of the slipstream and have more pace in him. I believe we're about to have a three-way battle here, Theo. Lewis Rose are now only 1.2 seconds behind.
The sandwich battle, love to see it. Oh, so there's two roses on my leaderboard here. There's a rose in third place and there's a rose in fifth place. We've still got Southgate in fourth.
Lewis Rose in third and Rose in fifth. Brove brothers. However, these two have had not a great hit, have not have can't speak. They don't have a great history of racing together on the track. As only last Wednesday, I won't mention names, but one of them took out the other, Brands Hatch. But hopefully we won't have any drama tonight. Only 28 minutes remaining. There's not many exciting battles on track apart from these at the moment. So I guess we'll just stick with these guys a little bit longer. Let's go on board with
at the moment.
Luke. Let's go on with Luke's gearbox. Have a look at that. Audi getting very close to him again through the chicane once more. Lewis Rose creeping up towards Matt. So theoretically, if Lewis and Matt do have a battle, Luke McEwen would just be able to shoot off into the distance. However, those two being teammates, will they battle, or will Matt Caruana just let him past? As I say, that you can hear Luke McEwen saving an incredible amount of fuel there. Now on board with Lewis Rose, you can see his perspective of the battle just ahead of him. 6 attempts to Matt, 8 attempts to Luke, so he has theoretically got the double slipstream now. So he should be able to reel these two in even quicker. Lewis Rose being a Civic Cup driver, he will want to send as hard as possible on these two, and as I say, that he gets very close to Matt Caruana. However, Lewis might not want to pass Matt Caruana just because he's known for some very scary overtakes. Looks like we've had a crash from Adam Buestin. Maybe just losing the rear end over the curb. Yep, we've seen that happen quite a few times here. Unfortunately, that is one of the characteristics of that corner. On board with Lewis Rose once again. Even closer now to the leading pair. Oh, I just had notification. Elliot Harper has passed Billy Fletcher.
Oh, wow.
It is a glitch in SDK. Unfortunately, I hate to disappoint, it is only a glitch in SDK. I'm sorry guys. I thought we had a little battle on our hands, but doesn't look like it. So this little battle for second place here will allow Luke McEwen to make a gap whilst saving fuel. So Matt Caruana is probably the biggest loser out of all of this. I wonder when these last pit stops want to come into there. There should be any laps soon. Let's see if anybody here will be able to get the undercut.
Some chaos soon.
The final pit stop will play a big part in the final order. It looks like people, Lewis Rose has entered the pit lane, Daniel Pohl has entered the pit lane. So there you are, I think people are starting to pit in now.
We are getting our pit lane chaos. I think we've got Luke McEwen, who is hoping that that will give him a slight advantage.
I think these just saved enough fuel just to make it the extra lap, so my guess is that they're going to be pitting in either this lap or next lap, but it would be very, very close. That car on all over the place, swerving behind Luke. Not quite sure what he's trying to accomplish there. These two have gone the extra lap, so surely they'll be pitting in. I think these guys will be the latest pitters actually. However, this time it will only be a splash and dash, probably no tyres. Excuse me. Not much really going on at the moment on track. These two will be coming in now though. Going one more lap. These guys been going for a very, very long time then. Not quite sure how they're doing it. Pretty much everybody else has pitted now.
Luke McEwen using his fuel saving techniques. Hopefully he's not doing that to a Mockata Matt Caruana.
If these two don't pit this lap, I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen. Currently, there's still Luke McEwen, ever since he got past Matt Caruana at the start. Luke having a little bit of a wobble on the exit of 130R there.
That Caruana is definitely gaining though.
Okay, hopefully they're going to pit in now. Okay, right, they're both pitting in now. Let's see, have a look at, see if anybody can get the undercut here. Matt Caruana gear banging, trying to make the most in the pits. However, Luke is still pulling away from him despite being in the pit lane.
And finally they've pitted.
It's taken them a while, but they are finally there. Let's see who will come out on top then. So Lewis Rose, who was in P3, is now coming past pit lane. Do you reckon he's got the undercut and will make it into the lead here? No. Okay, so Matt Caruana has managed to actually undercut Luke in the pits, coming up behind him. Not even undercut, just managed to take in a little bit less fuel. Came in behind him, came out in front. Lewis Rose having a very slow pit stop because now he is 7 seconds behind. So either he made a mistake or he overfueled massively, as unlike the front two, he didn't save enough. So our new leader is Matt Caruana.
Well, Caruana's at the head. We've got about 15 minutes left. Can he keep that gap? There's about half a second between the two. Luke slowly gaining, but just a little.
Well, Matt Caruana here does have the massive car advantage. The Audi is a lot quicker around here. He's also got the experience advantage. He's been doing VRS sprint races here all week in that car. However, Luke McEwen has just jumped into this car this evening. And he still holds the fastest lap, so we will see what Luke McEwen can do. See if he can keep up with Matt in the draft and eventually make a pass on him. Only 14 minutes to go of this 1 hour and a half long race. Matt Caruana running very, very wide on the exit of 130R. Close to death. However, he's managed to keep on track, not to discredit him. Matt Caruana now flashing the back marker in front of him. Very well done by Daniel Robbins for letting them pass there before turn 1. Very good driver from him. Now they're coming up to Ray Peasley, currently in P15. Looks like Alex Crater is up to P4 now. Not quite sure what's happened to Adam Southgate. Maybe just a glitch in the timing once more. We'll have to see how that gets on. McEwen now flashing Ray Peasley, asking him to let him past. Very good job by Ray Peasley to make sure he doesn't get in the way of this leading pair. Luke now right on the back of him, managing to close the gap a little bit over the course of this lap. The gap now 0.4. Luke McEwen catching up quite a lot on the straights. Using the draft to his advantage. Matt Caruana may have underfueled though, get past him. Here we have where Luke McEwen made his move on Matt Caruana with a very, very big send into the lost gain actually. So very well played by Luke McEwen there, taking the lead back from Matt Caruana that he lost over the course of the pit stop. Let's see if he can maintain this now. Matt Caruana running very wide on the exit 130R once again. Needs to be careful, otherwise that could end up being very, very bad. But looks like the screw-loose Lamborghini of Aiden Lucas has had a crash. Put on the power a little bit too early and just tapping the wall. Just 9 minutes remaining and the leading pair are only split by 0.2 of a second. Caruana off the track once again. It looks like he managed to save it though. Losing the rear end of his car slightly. Same thing as last lap. And a very, very good catch by Matt there on the exit 130R. Doesn't look like he lost too much time to Luke. Luke trying to make his way past more back markers. Very well done by Ryan Boston for letting the two past. Elliot Harper now back up into P8 after his early spins. Very, very good job by him. Billy Fletcher in P7 up 22 positions. Alex Crater in P7. It looks like timings are having some issues. Alex Crater in P6 up 24 positions. So very, very well driven by him. Lewis Rose still in third. The gap staying the same between him and Matt Caruana. Adam Southgate 24 seconds down the line in P5, then followed by Aaron Rose, who is 20 seconds down on him. And they are the last cars who are still on the leading lap. After what has been 1 hour and 23 minutes of racing. Luke McEwen managing to increase that gap a little bit now 0.3 splitting the two. Lewis Roy is still just 7 seconds behind those. Just under 5 minutes remaining now. On board now with Elliot Harper, the man who qualified second. He was beaten by Matt Caruana just on the just after the checkered flag was waved at qualifying. Alex Creighton now, sent behind, 3 seconds behind Billy Fletcher, who they are both up 23 positions now. Once again, P6 and 7, we have many Luxem cars. Every car from P2 to 7 is a Luxem car, as well as P9. So we do have a Screw Loose and Luxsim24 Esports invasion here. Let's hop back on board with the leaders now, as we only have about just over a minute of racing left, so I'm not sure it'll be a white flag for them yet. If not, it'll be a white flag next time round, so Matt Caruana will want to make his way past. I don't believe it is checkered flag now, so it will be white flag this time for Luke and Matt. It depends actually, it might be checkered flag, I'm not sure yet. Not 5 minutes, sorry, 5 seconds left on the clock. 2, 1, the race is now over, 1 hour 30 minutes over. So, not quite sure if it is checkered flag yet, or if it's white flag, but by the look of what Matt Caruana's doing now, it is checkered flag. Matt Caruana being very, very aggressive. Will he go for another very late lunge? Luke McEwen keeping the inside line, just managing to fend him off there. It is checkered flag, so Luke McEwen crossing the line. I don't think Matt Caruana will have a big enough run to pipe him, but a very big well done to Luke McEwen and Matt Caruana for an awesome battle. Nice clean racing, which is always nice to see. So congratulations to the two winners. Southgate bring it home in 4th place. Billy Fletcher coming through the last chicane, now crossing the line as well. Very well driven from Billy, up 24 positions at the end there from P30. Alex Crater as well, very well driven. So it looks like everybody is now finished. And I believe we now have our final order. I think everybody might be finished now. Has everybody crossed the line? I believe they have done. So, let's have a look at our final results. There we go. So we have our winner, Luke McEwen, followed by Matt Caruana, Lewis Rose, Adam Southgate, Aaron Rose in 5th, Billy Fletcher, Alex Crater, Liam Williams, Elliot Harper, Emil Nunez, rounding off the top 10. Next we have Aidan Lucas, Linus Soren, Gregory Van Hove, sorry if I butchered that, Ralam Boylston, Adam Buestin, Daniel Prolt, Nathaniel Goodben, Ray Peasley. Let's see if I can see the next positions now. No, I cannot. Why? No, it's not allowing me, I won't be able to see the next few finishes. After Ray Peasley, we have Tristan Rosier, Jory Havermans, Mark Southgate, Dan Robbins, Andy Murray, Jamie Goodall, Byron Russell, Josh Burton, Miles Owens, Oscar Engelstad in P29, and Dan Morey finishing in P30 after not making the end. Sorry I couldn't bring up the last few people there on stream, but thank you very much to everybody watching, and we will see